Got a lot? What's the matter with you? Haven't you ever seen anyone light a match before?
I was hoping you might go up with it.
Bee's coming with us tomorrow.
Yeah? Good for her.
Not so good for you, but.
How come?
Oh, you don't reckon she's going to let you run a book out there, do you?
What's your stake in this?
Nothing. I was just looking after your interests.
Pull the other one.
OK. I was planning on going into business with that bookkeeping, Sheila.
Gay what? What would she want with you?
You'd be surprised. But I don't want Bee fouling it up. So I thought you and me might get together and make sure she doesn't go. You know, join forces for the good of business.
Rack off, hairy legs.
Yeah, well, I know all I need to know about Talbot. Who else is there? Yeah, well, I know all I need to know about Talbot. Who else is there?
Well, there's Kay White. She sort of sees we've got everything we need, you know. She's real nice at first, even taking bets from Margot. But there's a real mean streak in her, Bee. She tried welching on a bet once, and the other day, a roll of material went missing, and Nolene had a go at her about pinching it, you know, just stirring. Well, she went right off the handle at Nolene, and I thought she was going to kill her there for a minute.
What a pity she didn't.
Where'd you get that off then?
Out of the storeroom. Want to play?
5 to 1, I can whop you.
You're on.
Anyway, no need to worry about this Kay character, unless she gets in our way. And we're not going to give her that chance. Hey, Margot. I believe you're still running your little racket at the factory.
Just keeping in practice?
Yeah, well, from now on, you can keep your practice on the inside. I'm just closing down your little bookie trade on the outside.
You can't do that.
I just did.
Hey, what about the game?
Stick it.
We'll play you. Okay. Thanks.
Right, you first, then it's my go.
You've already had a go.
I was just practicing.
Okay.
Well, that's
How
not
are we going to
fair.
do it?
Oh, will you come
For
on?
starters, we've got to beat
beat.
Smith at her own game. Show the screw she can't be trusted.
What are you going to do about Vince, Bee? They'll all get chucked out if you get caught.
They're always having accidents in factories. He's just going to have more than most. That's all.
I think Mrs. Davidson's making a mistake.
What do you mean?
Well, she's so busy trying to impress Andrew Reynolds that she's making errors in judgment.
B. Smith.
Right. He sends Mrs. Davidson flowers and suddenly she loses her perspective.
Well, I doubt if that's the case,
Well, there's
Vera.
no other reason that...
Oh, there's no rush for those reports now, thank you.
Mrs. Davidson, both Mr. Fletcher and I think you're making a mistake letting Smith out tomorrow.
Well, I know that she's been behaving herself lately, but I thought that we'd agreed that she'd be the last one to go.
Well, I think it would do her far more good to be placed in a position of trust immediately.
She was an escapee. And after the Bryant incident, she's bound to get new ideas.
Well, security's very tight at the factory, Miss Bennett. They watch more closely there than here.
Well, that's another thing we want to talk to you about. The officers are getting tired of sitting around twiddling their thumbs at the factory.
But I thought you were worried about the possibility of escape. I'm sure you'd be the first to agree that 2 officers are needed on duty at all times. Good night.
Excuse me. I'm looking for someone. They call him the Weasel. They said he might live around here.
Who's they?
Oh, you know, they only gave me his name and all. They said to ask around.
What do you want him for?
I got a little job for him.
Tell me who they are. I might be able to help.
Doreen Anderson.
Never heard of her.
Well, maybe the Weasel has, huh? Look, it was a long time ago, you see. I think she went under another name then. Debbie something or other.
Debbie Ray.
Yeah, that's it. She said he was the best.
He is. All right, what do you want me to do?
How do I know you're the Weasel?
Do I look like a bantam rooster? On the table.
I want my passport made legal, and I want my name changed.
$500.
What?
500 COD. It'll be ready tomorrow. No Sponduli? You'll be saying goodbye to this too.
Don't worry. You'll get your money.
The search for the escapee from the Wentworth Detention Centre spread to airports, interstate bus and rail depots late this afternoon. Police made no comment as to how the woman escaped from the hospital. However, they believe her to be violent.
Oh, get off. Violence.
Stupid
I hope she found the weasel okay.
Found the what?
Oh, well, last week when we were talking about all this breaking out stuff, I told her about this guy I used to know that fixes up passports and stuff.
Is there anything else you've forgotten to tell me lately?
No, be honest. We used to just chat because we worked at the factory together, you know.
Well, at least from today I'll know what's happening in both places. And you can forget what you just told me. We don't want anyone tempted into lagging, do we?
I just about had enough of you, Smith. You're the one with the big mouth, and just because you know you're going to be at the factory doesn't mean you're going to be top dog there.
Oh, yeah, and who is? You?
Yeah, and I've been doing a pretty good job of it, too.
You get in my way just once, Burke, and you're going to have to walk backwards to see where you're going.
Smith!
Did you hear that, Mr. Fletcher? She threatened me.
Yeah, and I suppose you did nothing whatsoever to provoke it, did you, Burke? But any more of that, Smith, and Mrs. Davidson won't think twice about withdrawing her permission for you to work. Now, you've got 10 minutes to the bell. It might be wiser if you turned in now, Burke.
You better get it right. 1 second out and you'll blow it.
I sweat. I'll do a real good job.
I didn't get too carried away.
Gee, that was close.
Yeah. Too close.
Would you mind if we walked for a while?
No, of course not.
I had decided not to see you again.
What made you change your mind?
I wanted to explain that I would prefer our association to remain a business one.
I see. Because I'm married.
Partly. Michael and I were separated years before we obtained a divorce. In that time, I worked hard to get where I am. It's very important to me.
Yes?
I don't want anything to jeopardize my position.
I'm not doing that, surely.
No. No, but certain situations could affect my work.
Are you sure that's not just a safety precaution? An excuse not to get too involved? It's always easy to tell yourself you're not going to get involved when there's a position in the background.
Or a wife.
The only thing Julie and I have shared for years is the same roof. We haven't communicated since the kids left home. Well, it happened long before that, to be honest. But then work took over for me. Nobody's fault. It just happened. I've not had the time nor the inclination to reassess the situation. Until now. I'm not making any promises, Erica, but I don't want our relationship to be just a business association. Yeah. I want to get to know you, to be with you. If anything should develop, what's the harm in it? I don't see why we should deny ourselves something that feels right because of your home situation or mine. And I don't want to run or hide from something that I haven't felt in years.
Neither do I.
Tomorrow will be the first time in ages I've been outside the gate.
Yeah, it'd be a bit different to when you're on the run, though, eh?
Notice how everything smells nicer out there?
Yeah, it must be what they call fresh air.
Excuse me, Mr. Fletcher. I can't seem to get the lid off this. Could you give me a hand?
Bea, do you reckon Kevin will really hate me when he finds out what I've done?
Look, he's not going to find out anything. But Vince Talbot sure as hell is.
Smith.
Oh, now, come off it, Fletcher. I never laid a finger on her.
She fell over all by herself, Mr. Fletcher.
Burke.
I didn't see who hit me, Mr. Fletcher. They must have hit me from behind.
I'd say you're really done it this time, Smith.